I wanted to ask you another question, but we should definitely talk about revision because I teased it and I promised that we would for sure get a tease for your class. So let's just get right to it. Let's talk about revision. No, tease again. John Claude Bemis. Do you believe in flying saucers and have you seen one?
I have never seen a flying saucer, I'm sorry to say. So yeah, I'm such a horrible, I'm trying not to be such a horrible skeptic and a cynic about things, but for a fantasy writer, boy, I just have this side of me that is like that. So I feel very strongly there's alien life out there. I don't think it's reached us yet, but I'm hopeful in our lifetime contact will be made. Let's hope.
I'll send you some documentation. It'll turn
right, You can change my mind.
I like that. You do enough fantasy during the day that when it's time for real life, hard, practical, straightforward skepticism. So that's with Bigfoot, Ghost, all of it.
Yes, but I'm trying not to be that way. And here's the way that, because I really don't like, I realized maybe 5-10 years ago, I was like, I'm tired of always trying to punch holes in these other things, being such a bad skeptic. And I talked to my wife about that, and she said, well, I'll tell you what then, for your birthday, I'll get you an astrological reading, and you can go, and I did, and it was awesome. It was really great. And since then, I've been trying to get more into some of those kind of things. I've been learning tarot card reading. I'm starting to develop a way of like casting, like there's casting bones for divination, but casting various objects, and just so that's part of my practice, to be less skeptical, less cynical, is I'm adopting some of those kind of things.
Careful with the tarot card talk. That'll get you banned in Indiana school.
Oh yeah, sorry. The tarot cards are purely for characters. Purely, I do my tarot card readings on the characters alone. So.
I dated somebody early on who was very into astrology, and she successfully convinced me early that that's not a thing that I should spend a lot of time on.
Yeah.
Although to this day, because I was classified as a Leo Virgo, I was born, I don't know, the sun was someplace. I'm a little bit of half of each, which makes sense to me because I'm certainly half extrovert, half introvert.
Yeah.
Thus, I'm on the show talking with you, having a good time, and then later it's going to be just me in my office and my little stories. But when I think of my two main characters, Banneker Bones and Ellicott Skullworth, I always think, well, Banneker's the Leo and Ellicott's the Virgo, so I have a nice little framework for them.
There you go. So, what's fun for writing is, in this kind of imaginative practice, is doing that kind of thing and thinking like, oh yeah, what would be the astrological sign for my character, and then looking up some of those books on like, well, a Virgo is often this way. And by looking at some of the interpretation on the Virgo, it might just help to, to think out interesting ideas for how to develop that character. It's actually something that is one of my other little side creative projects is, and there's actually some pictures on Instagram that I've been doing of this, of trying to develop my own deck of cards for writers to help with, or unraveling ideas about characters, about stories and plots. I feel like what's interesting with a lot of those practices, whether it's astrology, tarot, whatever, is that they're often very ambiguous. And so when something is ambiguous, that part of our brains that seeks patterns, it'll make the connections. So in other words, you do the tarot card reading for a character. For Banneker, you lay out his spread, you look up some of the stuff in the little booklet, and it just helps to draw things out of your imagination that I often feel were there all along, that they just gives a little framework for thinking out the ideas.
Yeah, I'm all for magical thinking until it comes to time to pay the bills, I've never planned my year around magical thinking, but when something nice happens, that's probably more or less coincidence. I think, oh, it's the divine hand, and I don't have to work so much because obviously everything's fine.
Yeah.